So another contract story out today. This time, instead of players going overseas to take the money, it is four guys, four prospective All Blacks who have signed on to stay in New Zealand for at least a year, and most of them for 2. So Taufua and Alaalatoa for the Crusaders. Taufua is the more surprising of the two, that the news has come out that he's re-signed. For Alaalatoa, it was kind of expected because he's been doing his time with the Crusaders. He's still not eligible to play for the All Blacks, as far as I'm aware, because he is Australian. But I believe if he does this year, or at least part of this year, then he kind of ticks that box to be eligible. So that seems to be his plan. I mean, I think if it was the green and gold that he was after, he would have gone back to Australia. But he's stuck with the Crusaders. He's played almost 40 games. So I would imagine All Blacks jersey is the natural target for him. And at 26 for a prop, he's still really young. He's still got lots of time ahead of him to develop, and he's in a good place to do that. Canterbury produces some of the best props in New Zealand, so good place to refine your game and get to that absolute kind of world-class level. For Taufua, it's mainly surprising because it'll be a month or two ago now at least, there were 3 guys linked with overseas clubs, and it was Ngatai, Tamanivalu, and Taufua. And Tamanivalu was quickly, it came out, the confirmation that he was going. Ngatai was not long after. And we've just been waiting for the confirmation of which club Taufua was going to go to, and it never came. Turns out he's signing with the Crusaders for another year. So, I mean, it's a pretty obvious to me anyway, like deal. He's got a year. It's a World Cup year. He wants the black jersey. He wants to go to a World Cup. And if he doesn't get it, I imagine he goes. I made a video about Kyle Godwin yesterday, and he was a guy that was talked about for a long time from a young age, that he would be on the international scene and never quite made it. He ended up getting 1 cap. Taufua's kind of had a similar thing. Since he busted onto the scene, he's been talked about as a potential All Black for a long time, but it's just never happened. So whether the decisions come from him that he wants to kind of push himself and really go for black, or whether there's been messages from New Zealand Rugby or Steve Hansen or whoever that, hey, maybe if you keep playing well, you're in with a shot. Whether it's from himself or something external, he believes that he can do it. And I guess he's got this one last season to kind of, well, this season and next season to kind of give it a go. So yeah, I think good moves for the Crusaders. Means their team's going to be that much stronger next year with 2 experienced and talented guys. For the Hurricanes, so Vince Aso and Wes Wilson have both signed on, so still pretty young guys, although been around a while now, so 23 and 22, both signed until 2020. I think the main thing for the Hurricanes is this is an endorsement of John Plumtree as coach. These guys are saying, we are willing to stay. We're happy to stay with Plumtree as coach. So, man, it must be emergency going on somewhere because that siren is getting closer to me. Anyway, Aso and Hussein. So yes, endorsement of Plumtree as coach, just because, there may be some guys who would have preferred somebody else. It's just human nature that not every person is liked by everybody else. So I'm sure there might have been a couple of players who had their doubts, but apparently not these guys. And as more guys commit their future to the Hurricanes, I think that will quell any doubts in other players as well. So it's a good move for them, good move for him. And yeah, these are 2 other guys I think who'll be chasing the black jersey. You got to think by 2020, at 25 and 24 years old, if they don't get black by that time, they're at that age where people start looking. So yeah, they've given themselves 2 more years. Whether they make it or not, it's hard to say because the All Blacks jersey is a pretty competitive one to get into. But yeah, they're giving themselves a shot. So good news for New Zealand Rugby and good news for Super Rugby all round that these guys have signed on. We'll see how they go. What do you guys reckon? Do any of these guys go to World Cup 2019 with the All Blacks? It'll be an interesting one to see. All right, guys, I'll talk to you again for another one soon.